end of a long day, it's the last thing I want to do. Well, I switched to Swiffer Wet Jet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one, so it's ready to go when I am. The cleaning solution actually breaks down dirt and grime, and the pad absorbs it deep inside, so it prevents streaks and haze better than my old mop. Plus, it's safe to use on all my floors, even wood. Glad I got that off my chest. And the day off my floor.
Try Wet Jet with a money-back guarantee.
The new razor from Harry's is not the same. It's our sharpest ever, and while some other companies will charge more for something new, we don't. Because why be like everyone else? Harry's, not the same.
To be honest, a little dust never bothered me. Until I found out what it actually was.
Dust like droppings? Dead skin cells? Gross. So now I grab my Swiffer heavy duty sweeper and dusters.
Dusters extends to 6 feet to reach way up high to grab, trap, and lock away gross dust. Nice. For dust on my floors, I switch to Sweeper. The heavy-duty claws reach deep in grooves to grab, trap, and lock dust bunnies no matter where they hide.
No more heebie-jeebies.
Glad I stopped cleaning and started Swiffering.
Before I was diagnosed by my doctor, I didn't know why my body was moving on its own. My eyes blinked way too much. It turns out I have tardive dyskinesia, a condition that may be related to important medications I take for my bipolar disorder. My fingers moved like they were playing a piano that wasn't there. Tardive dyskinesia can affect different parts of the body. It may also affect people who take medication for depression and schizophrenia. It's a relief to know that today, TD is manageable. Learn more at talkabouttd.com. Why are we doing this?
Why are we doing what? Using my Old Spice moisturized with shea butter body wash?
All I wanted was to use your body wash.
Then all I wanted was to have a body wash. Wow, I feel good. I feel good.
Get a dozen double crunch shrimp for $1 with a steak entree, only at Applebee's.
The countdown to election day continues, and now the vice presidential candidates square off. Pence,
Our country needs a president who believes in America.
Harris.
America, we are better than this.
The vice presidential debate. Watch it live on CNN.
She poked her head out. She was the one. Her siblings were kind of bullying her a little bit. Now I realize it was probably because she was deaf. I decided that we were going to be a team. I was going to be her ears for her as much as I could. This dog is my heart. I want her to live the happiest life that she could have. Investing the time and the money to make sure she gets the best food is an easy investment for me to make. I had been cooking for her for almost a year and a half. Since we have Farmer's Dog, it's made my life so much simpler, and Roxy loves it. Comes in these convenient little packs that you can tuck into your freezer. If my friends have dogs, I'm like, I found this amazing service, and they deliver this dog food that's completely better than what I can cook. I want her to have a really long and healthy life. Farmer's Dog is a good answer for that.
The new CNN original series, First Ladies, premieres tonight at 10 on CNN.
Until he became ill with the coronavirus and now spending day 3 in the hospital, President Trump had planned back-to-back rallies in Wisconsin this weekend. Now Wisconsin is considered a coronavirus hotspot amid a spike in new cases. CNN's Omar Jimenez spoke to health officials who are struggling big time to try to keep up.
It's a comeback story in Wisconsin no one wanted to see. This week, Wisconsin set a record for average daily coronavirus cases in the state, as well as a record number of hospitalizations and a record number of deaths due to COVID-19.
This is a scenario we were scared of. Our numbers rise every day. The hospital is now over capacity. We're having to resort back to some of our contingency plans.
Since mid-June, the number of new cases in the state had been on a steady rise. But beginning in early September, the numbers exploded.
This is a relatively brief moment of calm inside the emergency department at Bellin Hospital here in Green Bay over what's been weeks of chaos trying to keep up with the pace of patients they have seen, fearing they're on the brink of a crisis as they've now had to put beds in the hallway for the first time just to handle the pace of people that have come in. Why are we seeing the numbers that we've been seeing, at least over the course of the past 3 weeks?
There's a significant part of the population that doesn't believe in the public health measures we all recommend. So The common theme we're seeing right now is apposition of the virus through close family or friend contact.
County officials also point to COVID fatigue. People have started to relax their practice of health guidelines. Labor Day weekend gatherings with few masks or social distancing. Schools reopened with students in close quarters. And some rebelling against the statewide mask mandate, all as factors in the sudden rise.
We're all seeing these increasing hospitalizations that are taking beds away from our ability to care for other services, and we've managed it, but it is getting very challenging and very concerning as we watch the numbers continue to grow.
But it's not just Green Bay. Cities and counties across the state are struggling to find a way forward.
Our case numbers have reflected, we're in a bad spot.
The White House Coronavirus Task Force says Wisconsin has one of the highest rates of new cases in the country within the region of the Midwest, which now has the country's highest 7-day average of new daily cases per capita, according to Johns Hopkins data. And as the state tries to get a handle on the growing crisis, those affected serve as cautionary examples.
COVID really does a number on your body.
36-year-old Leah Blomberg says she had to be put in a medically induced coma after she tested positive in the spring.
He had actually told my husband to prepare for the worst, that they did not expect me to make it.
And months later, the virus's effects still linger.
I get winded carrying my groceries 20 steps from the front step to the kitchen. Even if you don't think it's serious, not hurting anything, to treat it like it is. Which it is, I know firsthand. I barely made it through the first round. I don't know if I'd survive a second round.
Omar Jimenez, CNN, Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Thank you very much, Omar. Coming up, amid contradictory messages about his health, President Trump says he has now learned a lot about the coronavirus, but instead of isolating, the president, get this, chose to use his motorcade as a photo op today just outside the hospital. Stand by. We're getting new information.
Tonight, I'll be eating a veggie cheeseburger on ciabatta. No tomatoes.
Tonight, I'll be eating 4 cheese tortellini with extra tomatoes.
So it's come to this. Thank you.
Brother, careful now, Daddy's not here to save you.
Oh, I am my daddy. Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
For the past 25 years, Massimo has been monitoring patients in hospitals around the world so that doctors and nurses can make sure you feel safe. As new challenges have arisen, we've grown to bring that same safety and support to the place that you want to be most. Together. Massimo. Together in hospital, together at home.
If you experience bladder leaks, you shouldn't have to sacrifice discretion for protection. Try Always Discreet. The unique design features protective leak guards, which help prevent leaks where they happen most, and an absorbent material that turns liquid into gel for up to 100% leak-free protection. The shapewear design provides a close and seamless fit to ensure total discretion. Choose the solution that keeps you drier. Try Always Discreet underwear with the money-back guarantee. Brand power, helping you buy better.
I wanted more from my COPD medicine. That's why I've got the power of 1, 2, 3 medicines with Trelegy. The only FDA-approved once daily 3-in-1 COPD treatment.
Trelegy, the power of 1, 2, 3. Trelegy, 1, 2, 3. Trelegy.
With Trelegy and the power of 1, 2, 3, I'm breathing better. Trelegy works 3 ways: to open airways, keep them open, and reduce inflammation for 24 hours of better breathing.
Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Trelegy is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
Think your COPD medicine is doing enough? Maybe you should think again.
Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy. We know times are hard, and we're here for you. Find support at Trelegy.com.
You can't predict the future, but a resilient business can be ready for it. A digital foundation from VMware helps you redefine what's possible now. From the hospital shifting to remote patient care in just 48 hours,
to the university moving hundreds of apps quickly to the cloud, or the city government going digital to keep critical services running. You are creating a future on the fly, and we are helping you do it. VMware, realize what's possible.
It's really important that everyone votes, that we get to hear everyone's voice. Otherwise, Charles and Shaq will continue to fill the void with their voices.
What can you expect from ButcherBox? 100% grass-fed beef, organic free-range chicken, heritage breed pork, and so much more. From farmers who believe in raising animals with care, with no antibiotics or added hormones, ever. All with free shipping right to your door. Together, we can make a difference, one meal at a time. Visit butcherbox.com to learn more.
Knowledge is gangster.
As you get older, are you worried about staying sharp and alert? Forebrain from the Harvard-educated experts at Force Factor contains key ingredients to help boost memory, learning, clarity, focus, and more. Rush to Walmart and find Forebrain, the #1 brain booster in the vitamin aisle.
I'm Manu Raji, Washington, D.C., and this is CNN.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Will Blitzer in Washington. This is a special edition of the Situation Room. Tonight, very serious questions about the health of the President of the United States. President Donald Trump will spend his third straight night at the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, just outside D.C., under a medical team's care battling the effects of COVID-19. Despite the seriousness of his condition and the fact that he's carrying a highly contagious virus, President Trump took a brief drive this afternoon in a motorcade past a motorcade, waving and cheering waving at cheering supporters outside the hospital. He wore a mask, but Secret Service agents went in the vehicle with him, and several doctors tonight are calling the photo op totally unnecessary and very irresponsible. The President's medical team upbeat and optimistic about their patient's condition right now, but they also revealed something today they previously had not, that the President did receive oxygen to help him breathe. He did have a high fever at one point, and he's taking a steroid drug usually prescribed to people with the most severe cases of COVID-19. My guests, including doctors and public health experts, will join me here in the Situation Room to discuss the President's prognosis. That's coming up shortly. The President today, before that photo op on motorcade drive, released a video on his Twitter account praising Walter Reed Hospital and the men and women caring for him there. He also said that these past few days have been, to him, an important education.
It's been a very interesting journey. I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school. This isn't the let's read the book school. And I get it, and I understand it. And it's a very interesting thing, and I'm going to be letting you know about it.
CNN's Jeremy Diamond is outside Walter Reed for us right now. Jeremy, the President's saying he's learned a lot about the disease now that he has it. We're also getting word that people who work in the White House have only now been given some specific guidance about going back to work tomorrow. What are you hearing?
That's right. Well, listen, we in the media and in the public have obviously had questions about transparency as it relates to the president's condition, but there has also been concern within the White House about guidance, or frankly, the lack of guidance coming to White House staffers in the wake of President Trump testing positive for coronavirus, as well as several other aides, including the president's top advisor, Hope Hicks. We are now 3 days from that diagnosis of the president testing positive for coronavirus. White House officials are only just now, Wolf, receiving an email from the White House Management Office, and it really doesn't tell them very much. It says it is a staff-wide email that suggests that people who have symptoms should immediately go home if they are at work and experiencing those symptoms. It says if you're experiencing symptoms, you should not come into work, and that staffers should essentially contact their primary care providers to handle any concerns about testing or to get diagnosed if they are concerned that they have those symptoms. It also says that staffers should not go to the White House medical unit for any testing inquiries, but should instead contact their primary care providers and ultimately wait until they don't have symptoms before they can get cleared to come to work. But again, the fact that that is coming 3 days after the president tested positive for coronavirus and several other White House aides have tested positive is pretty remarkable, Wolf. Now, we're here outside of the hospital where the president is being treated, and earlier today, Wolf, we saw President Trump come out here in a motorcade and actually do a drive-by here in a show of support and thanks to the dozens of his supporters who were out here throughout the day to show support for him. But it was remarkable, Wolf. I mean, this is the President of the United States. He is currently extremely contagious with an infectious disease that has killed more than 209,000 people in the United States. And yet here he was out of the hospital in his motorcade with 2 Secret Service agents who were in the car. And we should note those Secret Service agents, they did appear to be wearing N95 masks as well as protective eyewear and protective gowns over their suits. But nonetheless, Wolf, that is not something that any doctor would recommend a contagious coronavirus patient do. But the President of the United States deciding on the risk-benefit analysis front here that it was more important for him to come out here and have this public-facing PR stunt to show people that he is doing well, essentially, despite the fact that he is dealing with this virus.
Yeah, it was pretty extraordinary, I must say. The president's team of doctors, Jeremy, spoke to reporters earlier today, second time in 2 days, by the way. What are they saying now about the president's health, and which direction do they see his condition moving?
Well, we learned some more information about the president's condition. They certainly provided more details than they did yesterday during their first briefing. This briefing, once again, was led by Dr. Sean Conley, the president's White House physician. Dr. Conley made clear that the president had a worryingly high fever on Friday, as well as a dip in his oxygen saturation levels that went down below 94%, which prompted them to advise the president to be hospitalized here at Walter Reed. They also made clear that the president is on several drugs now, which suggests that his symptoms and his condition is quite severe as it relates to the coronavirus. The president is on this experimental antibody cocktail made by the pharmaceutical company Regeneron. He is also on the antiviral remdesivir. And finally, he is also on dexamethasone, which is a potent steroid that is only advised by the National Institutes of Health and the World Health Organization to be used in patients who are having severe symptoms of coronavirus, and specifically those who have required supplemental oxygen. Of course, we know that the president twice now has had to be on supplemental oxygen, but Wolf, a lot of questions were still unanswered, specifically over the president's lungs and the lung scans. Dr. Conley declining to provide those details and several others. So still many questions to be answered. We are far from a model of transparency as of yet from the president's medical team and from the White House.
You are absolutely correct. Jeremy Diamond doing excellent reporting for us. Thank you very much. Joining us now to assess what's going on at Brown University Emergency Room physician Dr. Megan Ranney, also the epidemiologist and public health expert Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. Dr. Ranney, let me get your reaction first to this email that the White House staff has now actually received. It's, by the way, 3 days since we learned about the president's diagnosis. Isn't it a little late now for them to be telling people, be careful, if you have any symptoms, don't come to work? Normally, that's sent out immediately.
That's exactly right, Wolf. You know, we have the standard recommendations of our own Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which say that if you have been in close contact with someone who has been diagnosed with COVID-19, in other words, if you've been within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes, you yourself should quarantine for a minimum of 14 days, and potentially longer if you end up developing symptoms. That guidance should have been sent out the same day as those first diagnoses, those first positive tests were obtained. People should have been quarantining through the weekend. It also strikes me as offhand here to tell people to go to their primary care physicians rather than referring them to the White House Health Office. for evaluation and testing. The White House has been able to provide tests to everyone who walks through the door to see President Trump. They owe the same respect to their staffers who've had to put their lives potentially on the line for this president.
Very important. Dr. El-Sayed, we saw the president still infectious, use that motorcade as a photo op. But can you imagine his doctors actually signing off on something like that, letting him leave the hospital, get into that SUV, driving around the main street over there, waving to his supporters and driving back to the hospital?
Never. Not in my wildest dreams, Wolf. I'll tell you this. You know, had any other patient other than the President of the United States done something like that, physicians would have said that he self-discharged against medical advice, and potentially when he came back, they really questioned not just his physical health, but also his mental health. And in so doing, he put a number of Secret Service members at risk, putting them knowingly at risk of contracting a very serious, a very deadly disease, of which he was extremely infectious. This was really the height of irresponsibility from the President of the United States. And, he said, I've really gone to school on this, not the kind of school that, that's reading books. The fact is, we all wish he would have read a little bit more, because all the people who are treating him have read the books, and all the people who are making public health policy have read the books. The one person who hadn't yet read the books seems to be the President of the United States. 210,000 people are now dead because of it.
Yeah, as I said, 7-8 months into this crisis, he said, I learned a lot about COVID in the last few days. You would think the President of the United States would have learned a lot about COVID over these past several months. Dr. Rani, talk a little bit about these very sophisticated experimental medications the President is now taking, and how potentially they could be affecting how he feels and maybe even his state of mind.
Absolutely. So the president is on a very complex regimen of medications right now. Two of them, remdesivir and dexamethasone, are medications that we give in our hospital and even in our emergency department to really sick patients with COVID-19. They're things that many of us across the country are familiar with, and we reserve them for those seriously ill patients. The third medication, Regeneron, is something that very few of us have experience with. It's really only used in a clinical trial right now. And to my knowledge, there are no studies and no one with experience of giving all three of those medications together. All of them have the potential for side effects for the liver, for the heart, and of course COVID-19 itself can cause problems with liver, heart, lungs, kidney. And the dexamethasone is known to have mental health side effects. It can cause psychosis, it can cause delirium, it can cause mania. Many of us, I would never want to say that the president is experiencing steroid-induced psychosis, but it is certainly concerning to see some of his actions today in the wake of this potentially deadly diagnosis and infectious disease.
Yeah, and what do you think, Dr. El-Sayed? Because earlier, one of our CNN physicians told us that the president may be the only person on earth who's actually taking all three of these very experimental, very sophisticated drugs.
Yeah, I mean, it is really concerning because it does tell you that they are throwing the kitchen sink at this president. It may be because he's the president of the United States, but it may also be because he was desperately ill and they're not letting on to exactly how ill he is. The long-term consequences, as Dr. Rani pointed out, is that we don't actually know how these different medications may interact with one another in someone who's already sick because of the coronavirus. And so we have yet to see, and it is concerning, and there's a reason why we do all of these studies to make sure that these medications are safe and effective. And usually we don't use them in concert until there have been multiple studies that have looked at how they may interact and play in the body together.
Yeah, it's very unusual indeed. All right, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, Dr. Megan Rani, guys, thank you very, very much. Meanwhile, sources are now telling CNN that President Trump is furious with his White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, after he contradicted that rather rosy picture painted by the president's doctor yesterday. We're going to take a closer look at why the lack of transparency from the White House really matters right now.
Long hair? Help seal split ends. L5 Dream Lengths with a cocktail of vitamins and fine castor oil. Strengthens hair's life to save that last inch for the hair of your dreams. L5 Dream Lengths from L'Oreal Paris. You're worth it.
Ever since I got this little guy, I felt like I was just constantly cleaning up his hair. Then I got my Paws on the Super Sweeper. It's a game changer. These heavy-duty dry cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. This is all you. We stopped cleaning and started Supering.
Whether you're looking to connect with customers, find new ones, or sell more of your awesome stuff, Constant Contact has powerful email marketing tools and more to help you do more business online. Power on with Constant Contact. Try it free today.
With the WW app, our weight loss program is easier.
It doesn't feel like work, it does feel really easy, and you have all the tools you need to be successful.
With hundreds of zero-point foods, I've lost 91 pounds.
The personalized recipes allow us to make something quick, healthy, and that we know we'll enjoy.
I feel better, I'm healthier, it's just incredible.
My WW, your weight loss and wellness, all in one app. Join today and get a free WW cookbook bundle. Plus, you could win an all-new Amazon Halo band.
Meet the Ninja Foodi Air Fry Oven. Make family-sized meals fast. And because it's a Ninja Foodi, it can do things no other oven can, like flip away. The Ninja Foodi Air Fry Oven, the oven that crisps and flips away.
Vicks Vapo Patch. Easy to wear with soothing Vicks Vapors for her, for you, for the whole family. Trusted soothing vapors from Vicks.
Let's go! You want results? You need a personal trainer in your home on your terms.
Hard work, that's reward.
A trainer that live controls your machine.
Everything you got right now, go!
To give you the truly interactive experience.
This is your reward.
Interactive personal training. Only at NordicTrack.com.